Take monoclonal antibodies, for example.
Like, I was just, wherever I could, just basically adding queerness to, if you see anything queer in the show.
One of our execs stood up and said, we only have a handful of queer leads.
Disney has gone crazy woke. Joe Biden talked about COVID yesterday. Gavin Newsom posted a photo of himself trying to read. Will Smith has an update in that story from this weekend. Ukrainian update. Holy cow, we've got a lot going on today. Don't miss a single solitary second. My name is Jobob. Daily Caller Live starts right now.
3, 2, 1.
Here we go!
That might be the only brown guy in Earth named Jobob.
That is actually her name, Jobob.
Live from a dingy bunker completely cut off from the outside world, except for you fine folks. My name is Jobob. This is Daily Caller Live on the today, March 31st. How is March already over? The year of our Lord 2022. Thanks so much for tuning in this morning. We've got a humdinger for you. Some footage leaked from an internal Disney all-hands-on-deck meeting that reporter Chris Rufo put out on Twitter yesterday, and oh my goodness. They said some funny stuff. So I don't know. I don't know where I want to even get started with stuff today. How about here? You know what? How about here? The quick Ukraine update. We have so much stuff to get to. I don't want to labor on things too much. The Ukrainian update today is that they're sending buses to Mariupol, and supposedly there's a humanitarian corridor that Russia is allowed to pass through. We will see if that actually happens. They're sending like 150, 200 buses through Mariupol to try and get people out of there. But yesterday, Joe Biden talked about COVID. Someone needs to stop letting him get to a mic, which is funny. Look, I am fully aware of the double standard, the joking double standard that I play on this. Anytime Joe Biden avoids a microphone for weeks at a time, I say, why isn't Joe Biden talking in a microphone? And then when he does talk into a microphone, I think, oh my gosh, somebody stop that guy from talking into a microphone. I'm fully aware of that, and it's somewhat a humorous thing that we play back and forth. But Joe Biden was at a microphone yesterday talking about COVID. COVID.gov. I didn't know that was a domain. Oh, that's interesting. So check this out. This is from the president talking about the COVIDs yesterday.
We're now in a new moment in this pandemic. Does not mean that COVID-19 is over. It means that COVID-19 no longer controls our lives. That's what it means. Cases are ticking up, as we thought they might. But now, thanks to the foundation we've laid, America has the tools to protect people, all people. And, as we've done from day one, my administration is making it easier than ever for Americans to access these tools.
So that's the president saying, no, COVID is behind us. Well, Mr. President, I would like to maybe point out the fact that California is trying to pass that crazy bill that we talked about earlier this week that passed through Senate committee in California that would require all kids to have the shot before going to school or daycare. So that's still a thing. And also, I fly every week, a couple times a week. I got to wear masks still on an airplane. So in what way, shape, or form is it behind us from a government standpoint? Obviously, businesses can do whatever the businesses want to do, but that's just that. Okay, if you haven't already, I'm looking at a couple thousand of you watching. I know I sound like a broken record saying this. Please click the little like button, because this next clip will blow your mind. The little like button, or the little angry button if you want, the little laughy button, the love button, whatever you want to click, just click that little thing right there. It doesn't cost you anything, but it really, really, really does actually help us out. Also, click the little share button over there if you can, because people need to see this next clip. Do you remember when Joe Rogan, when Dr. Malone, when Dr. Corey, and all of the doctors that were like, hey, monoclonal antibodies are a thing. And then the media and the internet and all of your big corporate CDC, NIH, FDA doctors said, whoa, no. Monoclonal antibodies are a no-no. People got banned from Twitter. They got kicked off social media platforms just for saying, hey, monoclonal antibodies seem to be a good thing. So they're stepping that back, pedaling that back, and listen to what the president also said yesterday. Mind you, I'll tell you after this. Watch this clip. If you haven't already, click the like button. This is insanity.
The monoclonal antibody. Take monoclonal antibodies, for example.
What?
They've helped save lives. This isn't partisan. It's medicine. But Congress hasn't provided enough money to keep purchasing these monoclonal antibodies.
Good freaking God. Okay, so, all right. So people have been talking about monoclonal antibodies for a long time. If you go to the hospital with a positive COVID infection, if you have the shot, they won't give you monoclonal antibodies. If you do not have the shot, they will. That's been going on for however many months that monoclonal antibodies have been a thing. But the problem is that the federal government, the FDA, and the CDC has been very, very hesitant to say that monoclonal antibodies work because you can't get an emergency use authorization for the shot if there's an effective treatment. Let me lay this out linearly for you. Bunch of big pharma companies which control the CDC and the FDA. I was talking to Jeff Barkey, a doctor out of Orange County, and he was saying, hey, just so you know, the big pharma companies pay for the research that the FDA and the CDC do, so it's about 50-50. So big money involved in the federal government. Great, awesome, love it. Keep it going. We definitely don't have any corruption problems there. Bunch of those companies spent a ton of money getting getting COVID shots, therapeutic shots for the COVID-19 Chinese bat fever virus. They spent a ton of money in R&D up front. Those got approved under an emergency use authorization, an EUA. Now, here's the thing about emergency use authorizations. They don't get approved unless there's no other treatment surrounding the specific virus. Meaning that the EUA is only in provisional terms able to be used if there's no other effective treatment. Monoclonal antibodies pretty early on seem to be a pretty effective treatment, but the federal government, the FDA, the CDC, everybody said, no, those aren't going to work because they wanted to keep the emergency use authorization in place. Now that they're fully approved, the COVID shots, now the president is saying exactly what he said. What did he say again?
You know, as we've done from day one, my administration is making it
No, it's not this. Here we go. This one.
The monoclonal antibody. Take monoclonal antibodies, for example.
Wow. So there's that. The president talking about monoclonal antibodies. Cool. So now that the EUA has cleared and all of the shots are official now and don't need an emergency use authorization anymore, now we can talk about effective treatments that have been around for a long dang time. Also, happy anniversary to this clip. You remember Rochelle Walensky, she's the CDC director, went on the news when the vaccine was first coming to prominence around this time last year. It's been a year. This clip is what I think stoked all of the mandate requirements across the country. Holy cow, check this out.
Our data from the CDC today suggests, that vaccinated people do not carry the virus, don't get sick, and that it's not just in the clinical trials, but it's also in real-world data.
So that was, again, the CDC director saying a year ago, no, if you get the shot, you won't get sick and you won't carry it, which is exactly the thing that prompted all of the mandates going throughout the last year. And apparently the lefty media and a bunch of your super big blue states and big blue companies didn't quite adjust their thinking when the actual information came out. So happy birthday to that clip, is what it is. Want to get to this. Here's a hard transition here. Woke Disney. Oh my goodness. Okay, just to set this up for you, we've got a lot of, not a lot of clips. We got some long-ish clips. About 3 minutes of Disney clips here. We'll stop it intermittently to kind of discuss. Yeah. I would love to hear what you think in the comment section. If you haven't been following this story, the very, very reasonable Parental Rights Act that passed in Florida that Governor DeSantis just signed that said, hey, maybe don't teach kids about sexuality and gender identity and all that stuff before 3rd grade. How about we don't do that? Seems pretty reasonable. Literally everybody I talk to, even the people that are like, I can't believe he signed the Don't Say Gay bill. You know, hold on. Do you know what it says? I don't think you know what it says. It doesn't say that at all. So the whole premise is a lie that you're believing in. People then, once they hear it, go, oh yeah, that actually seems pretty reasonable. So there's that. But Disney is now taking a side in that Florida law, which prompted an all-hands-on-deck meeting for all of the big creatives in the company to get into a Zoom meeting together and share how they feel. Here are a couple of clips exposed by Chris Rufo, journalist who is very, very open in covering all of the woke insanity, critical race theory going on in schools and companies. Again, this is a lengthy clip, but this is one of the Imagineers over at Disney talking about inserting queerness into everything. Check this out.
It's like, I love Disney's content. I grew up watching, all of the classics. They have been a huge, informative part of my life. But at the same time, I worked at small studios most of my career, and I'd heard, you hear whispers. I'd heard things like, oh, they won't let you show this at a Disney show. And I'm like, okay. So I was a little sus when I started. But then my experience was bafflingly the opposite of what I had heard on my little pocket of Proud Family Disney TVA. The showrunners were super welcoming. Meredith Roberts and our leadership over there has been so welcoming to my not at all secret gay agenda. And so I feel like I felt like it was, maybe it was that way in the past, but I guess something must have happened in the last they are turning it around, they're going hard. And then all that momentum that I felt, that sense of I don't have to be afraid to let's have these two characters kiss. Let's in the background. I was just wherever I could, just basically adding queerness to if you see anything queer in the show, I'm proud family. But I just was no one would stop me, and no one was trying to stop me.
So I'm not entirely sure what that lady's name was, but what was the first thing she said? My not at all secret gay agenda. What does that mean? I'm actually curious. If you know in the comment section what that means, what is a gay agenda? What is a straight agenda? I've never heard that term before. I've never heard anybody use that. I don't think there are people in corporate boardrooms saying, ha ha ha, we will advance the straight agenda. I don't think that exists. If it does, shoot it on my way and I'll happily take a look at it. But I don't really know what that means. And apparently she's not at all being secretive about it. Then she said, anywhere I can insert queerness. The term queer is actually very interesting. I don't know if we want to get into it crazy amount right now, but we had a good friend, James Lindsay, on the show, a couple months ago, talking about queer theory and what it is. And in his words, how it is the pathway to hell. So there's that. If you feel interested, go check out that interview. He explains it beautifully, and I don't really even want to try to attempt it. Basically, queer theory is the idea that nothing is anything. There's not this idea of, well, some men can be women and some women can be men. It's not that. It is, there's no such thing as man or woman or human or table or coffee cup or laptop. All of these things are translucently evolving into whatever it is that they wish to be at any point in time. That's what queer theory is, in a nutshell. So if you want to catch more of that explanation, you can check that out later on. Not later on, sorry. In the interview with James Lindsay. I wanted to play this longer clip. I know this is a little bit longer, but it's all good. Good is not the right term. It's all worth listening to. Check this out again from Woke Disney.
I'm here as a mother of two queer children, actually, one transgender child and one pansexual child, and also as a leader. And that was the thing that really got me, because I have heard so much from so many of my colleagues over the course of the last couple of weeks in open forums and through emails and phone conversations. And I feel a responsibility to speak, not just for myself, but for them, to all of us. We had an open forum last week at 20th where, again, the home of really incredible, groundbreaking LGBTQIA stories over the years, where one of our execs stood up and said, we only have a handful of queer leads in our content. And I went, what? That can't be true. And I realized, it actually is true. We have many, many, many LGBTQIA characters in our stories, and yet we don't have enough leads and narratives in which gay characters just get to be characters and not have to be about gay stories. And so that's been very eye-opening for me. And I can tell you, it's something that I feel perhaps had this moment not happened, I as a leader and me as my colleagues would not have focused on. And going forward, I certainly will be more so. I know that we will be. And I hope this is a moment where, the 50% of the tears, sorry, are coming. We just don't allow each other to go backwards.
Okay, so I was doing some real-time Googling. I'm not entirely sure what pansexual is. It's funny, when I Google it, the noun is a pansexual person. Cool, thanks. Thanks for that. What is a baseball player? One who plays baseball. Solid definition there, Google. Adjective, not limited in sexual choice with regard to biological sex, gender, or gender identity. So I would imagine that you can do anything. A pansexual person may be attracted to men, women, non-binary people, and people of any other gender identity. Okay, great. Yeah, okay, whatever you want to call yourself. It's so weird. Not to go off on a tangent here, Disney also said yesterday that they were going to stop saying, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, the age-old calling card for people going into Disneyland. And my question is why? What the 0.0000% of people who identify as neither one of those people. Look, there's a lot of people that were on board with okay, this person is a man, feels like they're a woman. This person is a woman, feels like they're a man. Okay, fine. There was a lot of people that were on board with that, or at least believed it, or maybe weren't entirely super advocating for it, but they were like, yeah, whatever. Like, I guess just do whatever you want to do. I, in a lot of ways, categorize myself in that category of people. But then you start getting into, well, I'm nothing. What the heck does that even mean? And also, doesn't it invalidate all of the people that are saying, hey, we just switched sides. We don't really know what this nothingness, non-anything is. So for the 1 in 10 million people who experience being none, that's who we're changing age-old greetings for? I don't know. Seems a little ridiculous to me. But what else is new? Woke Disney. Pandering. Gerald says pandering. Stop pandering. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Welcome into the competition era. We'll see if anybody tries to take their place. Let me get to this. Actually, you know what? I want to talk about this. Never mind. We're gonna save that for tomorrow. There's some new breaking news on the Will Smith slapped front. If you haven't been following that, but I wanted to get to this. This is Governor King Gavin Newsom the governor, king, dictator, godhead of California, reading several books, apparently starting on page 1, chapter 1. Look at this picture. I'm going to make it big for you. Gavin says, reading some banned books to figure out what these states are so afraid of. Okay, fine. There's a lot of things we can go on here. I was very proud of myself that I did not make a dyslexic joke on the internet yesterday when this was published. I didn't comment that. I didn't make any dyslexic jokes at all. If you don't know, Gavin Newsom has claimed to be dyslexic. I say claim because I don't actually know. Who knows? He says it. I believe him. I, for one, did not make any dyslexic jokes about the fact that he probably can't read those as effectively as he might claim to be in this photo. What also I want to point out is I have been in the room for these types of photos with politicians, people running for office, big name politicians, looking to create a photo op. So what I think is hilarious is the fact that somebody organized this photo opportunity, put all these books and stacked on a table with an empty plate, by the way. Make sure this is big again. And said, hey, Gavin, why don't you open this book and pretend to read? And Gavin said, okay, should I lean back? Should I be forward? Where should my left hand go? I'm not sure. He said, look, put up my chin. I'm curious how many photos they took to get the just perfect one that he's still reading page 1 of the book that he's not reading at all. That's Gavin. Also, in other Gavin news, I thought this was, I don't know what his play is, and I tend to think that a lot of political moves are political stunts. This is clearly a political stunt going from the governor, dictator, kingpin of California. Gavin Newsom is also on vacation until April 12th, which is also interesting, going to Central and South America on a family vacation. Now, I'm not opposed to people taking family vacations, but I'm curious as to why this photo dropped right before he went on vacation. What I would imagine is a lot of people aren't going to know that Gavin Newsom is on vacation, and if he makes the big, massive headlines right before he leaves, he'll be able to come back on April 13th and kind of just do his thing, and nobody will actually know. Make big, massive headlines, leave the state for 2 weeks. I don't know. That's probably what's happening here. Let's see. That's going to do it for us today. We appreciate you taking the time to tune in and listen. I've got that Will Smith story that we're going to come up with tomorrow because running out of time and wanted to do it justice, but I thought it was actually pretty interesting reporting from the Daily Caller. We'll get to that tomorrow. Any new updates? Somebody said it's good for Disney. Interesting. Cool. So, all right. More emptiness and nothingness, according to Queer Theory. I love reading the comments section. Sometimes I read it afterward. If I really, really want to punish myself. So that's going to do it for us today. Thank you so much for tuning in. Appreciate all of you, the several thousand of you that watch this every single day. Still blows my mind that I get to do this. This is super fun. Subscribe to the Daily Caller page if you haven't already. I've also got a page that we also stream this on. Also stream on Twitter and YouTube and anything else we can get our hands on. So subscribe all there. If you haven't already, give me a follow on any of your social media platforms. Just Jobob on the. I know you got your phone sitting right now. Just type in Jobob. I am hilarious on Instagram, by the way. So give me a follow on Instagram, Twitter, Getter, Truth Social. I'm on all of them. I use some of them more frequently than others. We'll see you tomorrow on a Friday. Wrap up the week and head on into the weekend. God bless America.